a budget and says, here's how much you can spend, work with it. And Huntington does. I mean, he tries his best to fit it in there. But I mean, for whatever you can say about it, we think they can spend 80, 90 million. I mean, this isn't unheard of. They've done it the past 4 or 5 years, but they're just not doing it. Like, they're just not going to spend anything more. We heard the quotes at Pirate Fest about the arbitration guys. Well, next year payroll will go up because arbitration guys are going to go up. Well, okay, but you're going to lose other guys. Like, they're not going to add payroll for whatever reason. So does that necessarily mean that they're not trying? I don't necessarily think so. Like, I don't think they're both exclusive. Like, they're tied into each other. Like, I think that you can be trying to win, which they are. They're putting a competitive team out. I think we both agree on that. But they just are wanting to do it very cheaply. Right? I mean, do you agree with this, or would you come out and say they don't want to win?
It's like I'm definitely more on your side, and I guess it's like if it's not this, it doesn't mean it's wrong.
To make too.
So it's like, I mean, I guess you're looking at if they're either trying to win or not trying to win. You know what I mean? So I guess you're more on the side of trying to win. But, like, everything's not just black and white. There's a lot of gray area in everything. There's a lot of variables in everything. So it's like if they're not, if you say they're not trying to win, doesn't that kind of mean like, well, then they'd be tanking, they're right. Trying to lose. And I don't think they're trying to lose by any means. So like what you're saying is like they're trying to win, but within these constraints. That's definitely what it is, and they're not going outside their restraints. And as much as you and I can say, and we feel validated that it could be done, just go a little bit outside these constraints. Just get these very good 1-year deals that could improve your team, right? That's called that investment. So fans will come out. You could get more payroll next year because you have more tickets sold. They're just not looking that way. So yes, like I feel they're trying to win, asterisks, you look down the bottom of the page, within $75 million. And that's what
right.
It is. So yes, but you could say, is that really trying to win then? Maybe they're just happy to be good enough.
Like competitive.
Right.
They're relevant.
And I think that might be more where I'm at this year. So I want to expand upon this some more, okay? Because I think it's easy and safe to say that the North Shore Nines had a bit of a different tone this offseason.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And this is really where it comes down to. And I think this makes a really valid point because it's not by one person said this. I've seen this said in several different ways, but also by different people. That, well, it's funny how you're seeing a lot of people who've supported the Pirates now changing their tone this offseason, and mainly about payroll. The guys that, always talk about payroll now talk about payroll or something like that. Here's where it comes down to, okay? If you want to be realistic and rational, the Pirates are never going to be a top spender. They're probably not going to be middle of the road. Now, granted, their market says they shouldn't. You know what I mean? So you have to be rational and expect that. When they were in 2013, 14, 15, into 16, like you did see the payroll rising. Okay, it was increasing. It still was not at top, but like when you saw it at the 100 million mark, you know they were close to maxing out. Mm-hmm. The argument then was they had a good core. So what I want to bring back is, because popular radio, sports radio host was all on board about them signing Trumbo. Right? Give Trumbo $20 million a year. He was coming off a fantastic season. That's where that's
and he wanted
thing.
to sign Melanson.
Yes. Oh yeah. Melanson and Trumbo, right? Get $15 million and $20 million, right? $35 million for them two players. But the thing is, when you're close to your max and you go out there and spend big, those type of contracts, that can cripple you. That's the worry. That's where the risk adversity comes in. We're this close. So air quotes, investing into that team, investing into the 98 team. It could work, but it could definitely backfire and really hurt you deeper into long end, in the long run, because we'd still have Melanson. We would still have Trumbo, still paying them all this money. And if this team, it would have gotten better. Like those two would not have improved that 98 win team. It probably would have made them, worse, which they end up being worse. But they're still here. We're still allocating $35 million to those two, and maybe be more realistic. So say $25 million to those two. Think about this team right now with $25 million going to Melanson and Trumbo. We're still not competing.
Yeah.
And that's with this team right now. That adds, we're at $100 million. We're at $100 million payroll with this team and those two guys. So the thing is, like, investing when you're near your max can be scary. It could do damage. You have the San Francisco Giants, like you had the Philadelphia Phillies. Now we're not there. Like, we're talking about a $70 million. This is when you can invest, because you're not near your limit. You can go to $100 million. You've done it before. So, like, if you go out there and you spend $10, $15 million,
just go to 80.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're at $80, $85 million. That's not overextending you. That's putting you back in line to where you were. That's where my issue is. This team has that solid core. This is the team you do invest in, and you have some risk adversity. You're not overextending yourself. So listen, Ryan, granted, we're talking about 1-year deals, and that's what even
that's what I mean, especially when they're 1 and 2 year deals,
right? But even if you went out and got a 3-year deal, say it was a 3-year, $30 million, $10 million a deal, a year. If that player doesn't work out, that's only $10 million, and you're still at $80 million. Like, you still we can still
payroll's going up next year though.
Right. But
even though
that's,
we debunked
that's where
that
the
last
difference is, at least in our point of view on this, and this is why we're a little outraged, because you do have a good team that you can win with. And I think that's the difference. Are they trying to win? They're not really investing into this team. We really feel like they could. And it's almost like they're refusing to. Just flat out refusing. Like, it's just a hard cap. Like, sorry, Nuttington, you've met that $72 million, so we're just done. Like, they're just tapping out. Even if they're seeing value come down the line, because there's definitely value. And that's, again, like, this is the Pirate offseason of off-seasons. People are not investing into free agents. The Pirates could come in, scoop up.
Yep.
But they're just not doing it. That's the Pirates' MO, getting guys for value. Dan Szymborski said in here, the Pirates do really well paying 2 WAR players at 1 WAR, paying 3 WAR players at 2 WAR. That's what you're doing in this offseason, and they're not capitalizing on it. They're seeing the value, and they're not obtaining it. That's what's so frustrating. Not the fact that they're not spending $70 million on a Mark Trumbo, who's garbage right now.
Yep.
There's 1 year Sean Kelly's at $2.75 million that does not, there's no risk involved that you're just flat out refusing to get.
And it's funny you bring that up. So here's my point with that. Like, because, you mentioned middle of the road in payroll. Like, middle of the road in payroll is like, what, $100 million at this point in Major League Baseball? We're not even near that.
Right.
Like, I have to believe that they could add a Sean Kelly for $2 or $3 million and be okay and not upset, Nuttington. So when I see that they're just, they're not adding to the bullpen, they're just not bringing in a proven, and they added, Tyler Lyons and Liriano, these minor league deals. I don't include that as a proven reliever. There's so many relievers. We've talked about all these names. The fact that they're not going and getting them, DiNardo, tells me that is it even about the money, or is it what you mentioned? They're like refusing to sign free agents. Like, do they truly believe that a guy like Sean Kelly or Adam Warren would not help this team at all? Is that their belief? If we go to the free agent market and sign one of these guys, it doesn't add anything to our team. It's baffling to me, because like you said, it's so low risk. These guys are going on 1 year deals. This is the Pirates' MO, but they're not. Yeah. They're not doing it.
Yeah.
So
even to the degree, let's go back to even Freddie Galvis. So with Freddie Galvis signing, it was what, $4 million?
Yeah, $4 million.
$4 million, right? The thing is, Ryan, you and I have talked about this. Freddie Galvis doesn't move the needle. When people are out there saying, well, I really don't care. Do you really want Freddie Galvis at $4 million? He's probably just what Newman's going to be. So let's roll with Newman. But it's $4 million 1 year. It would be different. It's Freddie Galvis got a 3-year, $20 million deal, or even like a 3-year, $15, $17, $18 million. Then I'll be like, that long term, like, is it, whatever.
Yeah,
but
Tucker will be up.
Yeah. The thing is, no, Freddie Galvis isn't great. He doesn't really move the needle. But for $4 million, it's an insurance policy.
Exactly.
He could be Newman, but we don't know what Newman is. So you pay the $4 million insurance policy, and you get the floor of Kevin Newman. So you're going to have what Kevin Newman could be in Galvis, and then you hope that Kevin Newman can actually be better than that, and you're good. But you paid $4 million to insure yourself.
It's being proactive, and it's a depth move, and like the same. And I can't stress it enough with the bullpen. Look, with Santana out, DiNardo, what if we go into the spring training and hopefully this doesn't happen, Crick or somebody blows his arm out? Suddenly, the bullpen's looking very shoddy.
That's a really good point. And I mean, arms are volatile, especially
if
bullpen.
You bring somebody in like Kelly or Adam Warren or any of these nicknames,
insurance.
You have insurance. You have a guy that's proven he can do it. He's a major league veteran. He can come in there. It's like they're going at, hey, we traded for Eric Gonzalez. We think he's going to be the shortstop of the next couple of years. He can do it. We found a value where we think other teams were undervaluing him. We're going to bring Tyler Lyons in. We think he could be a great value, and other teams are undervaluing him. But by God, we're not going to go out in that free agency and overpay and win and overbid somebody and bring him in here and have it not work. Like,
yeah,
what?
Right. Let's say this. The topic right now for the past 10, 15 minutes, whatever we've been saying, is like risk adversity, and that's like this team has a lot of risk. They don't have insurance on this team. They don't want to pay all these big contracts because the risk involved or whatever. But this team has a lot of risk, and they're not protecting themselves. As we said, with Newman, like all these guys could do something, but you never know, and they're not protecting themselves. And that's what this 1 year, $4 million contract that Galvis would present. This 1 year, $3 million of Sean Kelly. It prevents that that bad player. The arm going out, right? Newman doesn't pan out. Well, at least you have Freddie Galvis. He might not be the ceiling, but he's helping you maintain. So that's just my issue with this.
And your boy Iglesias is still out there. I mean, Galvis signed for 4. Iglesias is still out there. He's probably going to go for less, right? You would have to think so.
I could see him go for 4. I mean, he might be the same, but still, we're talking about $4 million. We're talking about $4 million. Daniel Hudson was given $5.5 million. Like, think about that. And we were willing. We kept Daniel Hudson was being rostered until Dickerson was DFA'd. I mean, think about that. We were going to roll with Daniel Hudson at $5.5 million after the season that he had, which was a disaster, which we also felt he would come back from, and he did. He was solid last year enough. But you're paying Daniel Hudson $5.5 million, but you're not going to give Sean Kelly this year $3 million at the team that you have this year.
Sean Rodriguez was making what?
You're keeping Hudson same $6 million. Like, you're keeping those guys with the team that you traded Cole and Kutch for. This was you're still making these deals to win, and yes, you still proved that you were solid, but you took that next step when you traded for Archer and Kello. You took that next step when now these guys that you traded for are all a year older. You're going for it. You get the Sean Kelly this year for even less than Daniel Hudson. You get the Freddie Galvis for even less than Sean Rodriguez. Now you have insurance. You also have a bench. You have a deep ass bullpen. Now, like, think about that. If this team had Freddie Galvis and Sean Kelly, I'd feel a lot safer. Galvis doesn't move the needle, but I'm confident that we would have 2 wins at shortstop. Confident. Whether it's a combination of everyone, but we could potentially have more. Like, the floor to me is 2 wins. The rotation is what it is. The offense is average, but at least the bench is a little bit deeper now. And that bullpen is solid. So even if that offense isn't clicking, we can shut down a team. If we can score 1, 2, 3 runs, we win. Now it's
if they were doing all of the, I mean, it's almost like, there's all this talk about the owners colluding, and I mean, if the owners were colluding, I guarantee they didn't even call nutting because they knew that nutting's not spending, so they were like, let's not even